Hello friends, thank you for joining me today at Mr. Kane's Storytime. It's Friday, June the 19th, 2020, and I want you to know that Miss Maureen and I would love nothing more than all of us to be gathered in our class, learning, creating, and sharing our love of stories, but you know what, this is the next best thing. Just a reminder, if you do have your storybooks that you've been working on this past week, if they're ready, send them in to me today. I'd love to hear you read to me. So let's get started. We're all together again, we're here, we're here. We're all together again, we're here, we're here. And who knows when we'll be all together again. Well, it's the weekend, but we will be seeing you on Monday and Tuesday of next week for our Safe from a Distance visits. Can't wait for that to happen. I'm so excited. We're all together again. We're here, we're here. So, if it's the weekend, and yesterday was Thursday, it obviously means today is Friday. Today is Friday. Friday is here. Everybody cheer. Yeah. Today is Friday. All day long. So, we have talked about the fact that June is a month that celebrates different things. We celebrate Pride Month. We also celebrate and acknowledge Indigenous History Month. So in honor of Indigenous History Month, I have shared a few books so far in June, honoring and respecting the contributions that Indigenous people have made to the history of this land that we share with them, that is actually stolen land. We know that we need to do better in our relationship and honoring the treaty rights of the First Nations people of this country. Today I'm sharing with you an origin story that is called The Thundermaker by Alan Syliboy. Comes with a cover. Let's see, is the art the same or different? Same. It says here on the back that artist Alan Syliboy studied privately with Shirley Bear and attended the Nova Scotia School of Art and Design, where 25 years later he was invited to sit on the Board of Governors. Alan looks to the Indigenous Mi'kmaq petroglyph tradition for inspiration and develops his own artistic vocabulary out of those forms. He lives in Millbrook First Nation, Truro, Nova Scotia. And an origin story is the sharing of stories about the beginnings of traditions and honors the storytelling which the Indigenous people use as a way of sharing their legacy with their children and valuing the contributions of the elders within their community. There's a lot that we can definitely learn from the Indigenous people that live here with us. There is smoke coming from the top of a wigwam deep in the forest. The trees are swaying a little back and forth. The wind rises, a summer storm must be coming. Distant thunder is rumbling, the thunder gets louder and louder, the wind grows stronger and stronger, then the ground starts to shake. Have you ever heard of the word wigwam? I want you to do a check and see if you find out what it means. Inside the wigwam, a mother is talking to her son. Her name is Giju, and she comes from a long line of storytellers. Her voice is soft and comforting. She is telling her boy a story about the thunder. You are from a long line of Thundermakers, she tells him. Your father is Big Thunder, and it is he who makes the thunder. You are Little Thunder, and one day you will bring the thunder to the world. Big Thunder joins his family at the fire. Little Thunder has many questions. Where does the thunder come from? He asks. It comes from within the earth, says Big Thunder, and it helps to create new life. It is my job to gather up the thunder and lightning and throw it back to earth carefully so it doesn't do damage or get trapped in one place. Can it hurt us? Asked Little Thunder. Well, Giju says, Lightning can start a fire and scorch the earth, but it also burns down the old trees and makes room for the new ones. Life sprouts from the earth's scar, and that helps everything in the forest, the trees, the plants, and the animals. This is called renewal, and it is part of the great circle of life. Outside, the thunder dies down, the storms begin to move on. Little Thunder thinks about how much fun it will be to take his father's place as the Thundermaker, lightning bolts and making the ground shake. So his father is passing the tradition on to Little Thundermaker. As the days pass, Little Thunder learns many other things. From Giju, he learns that when he hears peepers in the spring, it means the fish are moving up the river. His mother also shows him how to make the weirs that capture the fish. Together, they build them out of stones that form a V in the shallow part of the river. Once the fish are trapped, Little Thunder and Giju wade into the river and gather up fish and put them in the baskets they had made from reeds and moss. Then the caribou and moose and deer arrive. Little Thunder learns from his father that the fish, the caribou, the moose, and the deer are all part of the same great circle of life. And we are part of that great circle too, Big Thunder tells him. As the days get longer and warmer, Little Thunder picks the berries that grow in the forest. When the days are finished, he spends the nights dreaming about making Big Thunder. Soon, winter comes. It is Little Thunder's favorite time to spend with his mother, for she tells him stories every night. Little Thunder learns about story cycles. Giju explains how one cycle rolls into the next. He says that characters always reappear with a new teaching or a new way of telling an old one. His mother talks in pictures, and these pictures transport him back in time. There he can find his place as part of this circle. When Little Thunder's mother finishes a story, his father picks it up, telling of great hunting trips and how to think like a rabbit or a fox. He tells Little Thunder how to know where the animals will be and how to have real respect for these creatures. Little Thunder is learning so much from his parents. As Little Thunder gets older, his father gives him lessons on how to become the Thundermaker. His task is an important one for the Mi'kmaq people. He must create Kluskap, the teacher, by throwing 3 thunderbolts at a mound of clay. Little Thunder has to pay close attention to how he throws the bolts and where they go. Throwing lightning bolts can be very dangerous, Big Thunder tells him. There are consequences for any mistakes. Little Thunder is a good student, and one day the time finally comes. He is ready to go to the sacred mountain and become the Thundermaker. I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit. There, that's better. That's much better. Little Thunder must complete his task alone. But his lifelong friend Wolverine is curious. Wolverine sneaks up the mountain following Little Thunder. When Little Thunder turns around, Wolverine changes into a tree. Little Thunder keeps going, but is sure that he's being followed. He stops again and turns around quickly. Wolverine hides behind a boulder, but Little Thunder sees him. "Wolverine, I know that's you," he says. "Since you're here already, you might as well come along." At the top of the sacred mountain, Little Thunder builds a fire and sings the song his father taught him. He asks the Creator to help him become the Thundermaker. In the language of his people, it means, "Creator, help me. Please help me, Creator." As soon as Little Thunder finishes the song, the fire becomes a portal to the spirit world. Little Thunder knows that 3 thunderbolts are needed to create Kluskap, the teacher. But just as he prepares to throw his first thunderbolt through the portal, Wolverine whispers in Little Thunder's ear. Little Thunder is distracted and throws the thunderbolt into the middle of a river, killing the fish. Immediately, the ceremonial guardian, Hurricane Man, appears and scolds Little Thunder and Wolverine. "Take more care in your task," he says sternly. Little Thunder throws his second thunderbolt, and his aim is true. He hits a mound of clay, which immediately turns into a human figure. He begins to throw his next thunderbolt, but again is distracted by Wolverine, whispering in his ear. The third thunderbolt misses its mark and hits a tree. Little Thunder and Wolverine watch as the tree becomes the Cannibal Man, a man-eating ogre who would like to gobble them both up. Just then, Earthquake Man, a terrifying chief and Cannibal Man's mortal enemy, appears and stomps the ground. Uh-oh. Wolverine is very mischievous. He continues to stomp the ground until he creates an earthquake that swallows up the Cannibal Man. Earthquake Man stomps again, knocking Little Thunder and Wolverine to the ground. "It was here. I was here to help you this time," he scolds. "But you must take better care." Little Thunder must land a second thunderbolt. He is nervous, but he does not listen to Wolverine this time. He concentrates on his task, like his father taught him, and he throws the thunderbolt. The thunderbolt hits its mark, and the human form of clay is given life. One last thunderbolt is needed for the human being to be free himself from the land. Little Thunder takes a deep breath and summons a final thunderbolt and throws it. The bolt lands, the human form becomes Kluskap, the teacher, and he is fed from the earth. Kluskap gathers medicines from the forest and then journeys to the village to meet his people who will teach and care for. From the mountaintop, looking back through the portal, Big Thunder and Wolverine are very pleased. Little Thunder has accomplished an important task by creating Kluskap, who is a great benefit to the Mi'kmaq people. As a reward, he finally becomes... What does he become? What's your prediction? The Thundermaker. Now he will bring new life to the world for many years to come. And that is the origin story of the Thundermaker. And Little Thunder learned so much from his parents, and even was distracted by his friend, who was being very mischievous. But it's a story about life and the circle of life, and we're all part of that as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you are able to watch some videos online, on YouTube perhaps, that celebrate the contributions of Indigenous people throughout this country and on this land that they so generously share with us, even though it is stolen land. So we honor all the contributions of Indigenous people to our history. And on that note, I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back on Monday for Storytime at 2:30, but also know that Miss Maureen and I will be doing Safe from a Distance visits, our final ones of the school year. There will not be Circle Not Circle on Monday and Tuesday, but I'll be back doing that at 11 o'clock on Wednesday. Have a great weekend. Bye everybody. Thanks for being here.